Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Working Trader, where we look at the Euro USD and GBP USD and come up with trade ideas for the day. So let's jump right into it. Looking at Forex Factory, today is a Tuesday. We have JOLTS, job openings. Well, that's tentative now because of the US government shutdown. So the data may be delayed. Okay. So at this point, we do not know. But it's good to be aware that there is high impact news events. This is in the uh, New York session. Okay, this is in the New York session. So, okay, let's look at the charts now. So, looking at the Euro USD, this is what we now have. So, this is our week daily swing. So, this is our week daily swing high. Okay, obviously I'll deem this as a significant pullback. Okay, so this is what we were saying yesterday, that I was expecting, well, I am expecting that we are in a pullback. We are now in a pullback phase. Okay, and it's possible that price could drop until we mitigate this daily demand before we then start going up to target the week daily swing high, if the daily trend is still continuing. Okay, if the daily trend is still continuing. But right now, everything is bullish, swing is bullish, internal is bullish, and we are in a pullback and there's no structure shift. Okay, from an internal perspective. So everything is still very, very bullish. So it is highly likely that now that prices just got to the EQ, okay, I just got to the EQ of this daily swing range. Okay, so it is likely that we will get a reaction. Okay, which is what it looks like we're having right now. Okay, this is a reaction from the EQ. Okay, so it's possible price could just go up a little bit, maybe mitigate this imbalance right there, and then come back to mitigate that before we start going up. Okay, so all those are uh, possibilities. Okay, so we could either mitigate the imbalance or uh, fill the imbalance. All right, so push up and then push down. Okay. However, I'm still expecting price to continue bearish to mitigate this demand on the daily. Okay, so looking at the 4 hour. So looking at the 4 hour, this was the POI, the 4 hour demand area that we had, and I was expecting it to be eliminated. Now, initially I had been saying that, I think yesterday in the morning I was saying that we'll probably expect this to be taken and then maybe have a reaction to come back to this area before we then come back down. However, price kind of left liquidity right there. Okay, there's relatively equal lows, right, and then pushed up and then finally took out the demand area without reaching this supply at the top. Okay, without reaching that supply at the top. So that supply really was supplied because of this fractal structure break. However, it became more significant uh, after this demand was eliminated. Okay, after that demand was eliminated. So now price is pushed down. We did not mitigate this demand area. Okay, we did not mitigate this demand right there, and we are getting a reaction. as it stands. So that's been eliminated, so that's no longer relevant. Okay, let's see what we have. Alright, so this is our supply that is unmitigated. Everything else has been mitigated. Okay, and then of course this is another fractal supply right there. We have an imbalance, stay away candles. So it is possible price could just come up in here and then go lower. Okay, and go lower. So that's on the 4 hours. So looking at the 1 hour, see, okay, so this is what we have at the moment. Alright, let me just sort that out. Okay, so our swing structure, okay, has been broken. Okay, so now we've had a swing, a 1 hour break of structure bearish. Okay, so that is now our strong. That is 1 hour swing strong. Okay, so after break of structure, we expect a pullback. Okay, we expect a pullback. So price is using this fractal structure here, okay, to facilitate that pullback. Okay, now as you can see, the zone was eliminated. Okay, so price did reach below the zone. Okay, swept it, and then now we're getting a reaction. Now we're getting a reaction. So hopefully we're getting a reaction towards this for our supply. And what do we have here? I'm going to call that my 1 hour supply, which is at the extreme. We have imbalances, big imbalance candles, which is a good sign. However, we have failure swings. Okay, we have failure swings right there, so that could be liquidity that could be targeted. Okay, it could be liquidity that could be targeted, and then if that's taken out, then we might be expecting maybe price to reach up there. Otherwise, we could just sweep the liquidity and then start pushing back down. Okay, but otherwise, on the 1 hour, this is what we're expecting. So either we're expecting price to continue bullish to mitigate this, okay, before we start coming back down. Okay, so that is the expectation. So for the Euro USD, we are we are bearish. Okay, we are bearish. However, because we've broken structure on the 1 hour, okay, we've broken structure on the 1 hour. This is an internal pullback. Okay, we've had a fractal structure break right there. Okay, so this is to facilitate an internal pullback. Right, so we've had a choke right there. So this is facilitate an internal pullback. And then, so that means internally, the range is simply this high. Let's see, internal So internally, that is our high, okay, and then internally, this is our week low, okay. Internally, that is our week low. So if we're just looking at the range, premium and discount range, right, price is still in discount, okay. So we are expecting it to get into premium, and we do not have any clear levels except once we reach or mitigate the 4-hour supply zone right there. So once we mitigate the 4-hour supply, that's when we can then start to expect price to, okay, either price um, to realign, okay, with the bearish trend, or it could continue, all right, and mitigate this, and then finally target the week low. Okay, so this is week low, all right. So that's the expectation. Okay, that's the expectation. We are bearish. However, in the short term, all right, in lower time frames, you could look to go long, anticipating that price might continue all the way to this 4-hour supply. However, it is also improbable, or it is very low probability, because you're trading against the trend. Everything is bearish at the moment, so you'd rather wait for price to give you a clear signal, okay, that it's now going bearish, and then focus on those short trades. Okay, so that is that for the Euro USD. Now let's look at the pound dollar. So looking at the pound, it's the same thing. Okay, we had a breakout structure. This is our unmitigated extreme demand on the daily, which is right at the EQ. Okay, which is at the EQ right there. We are having kind of a significant pullback. Okay. So I am still expecting that, because we had a strong departure like that. All right. So I am expecting a pullback to the origin of the move. Now, is it going to be one move like that? Probably not. Okay. So we might go back again, mitigate this imbalance, okay, or fair value gap, and or fill the imbalance, mitigate the extreme again, and then come down, okay, and come down. So that's a possibility. Otherwise, the pullback might be complete right there, and then it could be just continuing up to take out this wick swing high. All right. So looking at the 4-hour, we're starting to see failure of demand zones. So expectation is that price will continue bearish, okay, internally, to facilitate that pullback. Okay, so the 4-hour is facilitating the daily pullback. Okay, so 4-hour is already switching, because we are seeing we've had changes of character and internal breaks of structure to the downside. Okay, as well as failure of these demand zones. Okay, so demand zones are failing. All right, so this is what we have. So I'm looking at possibly price coming up to mitigate before continuing bearish. Okay, before continuing bearish. Now we could sweep these highs, okay, and then just fail to reach this POI and turn. So we'll be looking out for both of those scenarios, okay, on the 4-hour. So looking at the 1-hour, looking at the 1-hour, So looking at the 1 hour, we have shifted, so that's no longer internal structure shift. That is now clear IBOS. Okay, so on the 1 hour, this is this is where my swing is at the bottom right there. Okay, my swing is at the bottom, so this was an internal. So right there, we now have a clear internal shift in structure. Okay, could have put it up here as well. Okay, so we're already in an internal bearish trend as it stands. So after break of structure, we expect a pullback. Okay, we expect a pullback. So this is an area where price is already mitigating. Okay, has already tapped or reached into that area. We've had a sweep right of that area. Bam, all right, 1 hour sweep. Okay, and we had a strong reaction, and then now we've had very slow corrective pullback. Okay, no impulse candles, imbalances filled. We do have a bit of an imbalance right there, but well and truly there's a weak pullback. Okay, so expectation is that because we are in a bearish trend, so we are expecting price to continue bearish. Now it is possible that this could be taken, right, that could be swept, and then we continue bearish, because we do have this POI right there as well. Okay, and then we have another fractal area as well, so price could react from any of these two areas. Okay, but the key thing is we are bearish, so we're looking to go short. Okay, so I think that's it for Euro USD and GBP USD. So both of them, we are expecting we are in a pullback phase. Okay, so now the internal trends for the 4H and the 1H, they've shifted bearish. We've broken structure and we are in a internal pullback to realign bearish to go short until we reach maybe the extreme of the daily demand in discount. Okay, so those are the expectations for today until price shifts. So other than that, I think that's it for today. So please do like, subscribe, and share, and leave a comment if you see value in this material. Otherwise, have a good day. Working Trader out.